Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to show you best and worst practices for certain parts of your makeup. The left side of your screen is going to be not the best, the right side is going to be a good alternative. We're going to start with skin prep. Skincare prep is so important, and I see a lot of people who do this to their skin. They just squirt it on their skin, but you'll see the way I'm doing this, even those 3 little pumps on one side of my face actually would have been enough to do the whole face. And a lot of people will then go on to squeeze on the other cheek, squeeze on the other side of the forehead. It's over prepping the skin. So I'm going to do 1 pump on the other side, or you can just do 1 pump on your hand. It's up to you. Your hand isn't going to absorb it, don't worry. And we're going to push this into the skin, really massage it into the skin, because that 1 pump is enough of a whole one side of the face. I actually had quite a lot. I could have brought it down to my beard. I even could have brought it down to my neck. Still trying to blend in, rub in the other side. You can see it's kind of like congealing on my skin now. My skin isn't accepting the moisture. And I want to prove something with this. I want to show you that skin prep is probably more important for the longevity of your foundation than setting it. Let's move on to brows for now. And I'm gonna do a line under my brow, which is fine. That's a nice kind of like base to start with. But then I'm gonna add a line on top, and I'm just kind of like dragging the line out, making sure it's really straight. This is okay. It's a little bit outdated. You know how brow routines outdate themselves really quick nowadays. This is where it kind of starts to go a little bit wrong. I'm gonna start to box in my brow. At the front of the brow, I'm gonna make it really boxy, really rigid, and as like boxy as possible. It just isn't, it doesn't look real. It doesn't look like brow. So, and it can change everything. It can change the shape of your nose. It can change the shape of your eyes. It's very important to get the brow shape right. So I'm gonna comb through with some brow like gel and make sure I kind of have my brow in the shape that I want it to be this way, and have texture. You can see I have texture of the brow, there's individual strokes, but I can also see all the gaps I need to fill in this way. I'm not just gonna go rub in and scribble in the whole brow. I'm gonna use the pencil to do strokes like this, like individual hairs, and take it across the whole brow. I started on the outside corner because that's ideally where we want our depth to be a little bit darker, and then bring it across gradually. This way you can see hairs, it looks like brow hair, it looks like texture, there's some depth to a brow, instead of it looking like an early 2000 tattooed on brow, you know what I mean? Okay, we're gonna do next what I call the UK Academy eye makeup prep. I'm using concealer here. Some people use eye primers. I'm using concealer because I always say don't use concealer, and I want to show you exactly why. I'm just gonna start tapping this for some reason in a really heavy amount. I don't know why people do this onto the lid. It's absolutely not a case of the more you use, the better payoff you're gonna get. And we're going to see that throughout this video. I'm going to give it the benefit of a doubt. I'm going to tap it all in until I feel like it's secured onto my skin, because this is a lot of product just sitting on top. It will get to a point where the product is just holding onto product and it's not going to be able to, you know, grip to your skin. So I'm blending all that in, making sure that it's all tapped in correctly, making sure there's no smudges in the eyes. On the best practice side, I'm using an eye primer. And I'm making sure I really blend this in with my finger because I want it to be warm. I still want coverage. I still want neutralization on my lid, but I don't want to overdo it. I just want to have, you know, a good base on my eyeshadow. And I take this up to just under my brow. We are going to carve a brow also. You can see it's just as neutralized, just as good coverage. And on this side where we start to carve out, I'm just not going to be as wild with it. I'm going to keep it up by the brow, bring it down slightly, and I'm just going to blend that in gently. We don't really want the concealer to overdo or, you know, go on top of a primer. Still as equally carved. This is just a few minutes later. Look at the creasing. This is the side with, you can see the concealer side, it's terrible. Okay. Foundation and dripping that onto the skin. Ugh. Same as the skincare, right? People drip it onto their skin, whereas usually 1 pump can do a lot. Now, this is nothing against full coverage. If you want full coverage, go full coverage. But full coverage doesn't mean excessive product. It means working up to that. So here I just used everything I had on my face and pushed it into the skin. I've done 1 pump on the back of my hand on the other side. And I'm starting with the areas where I'm more red, on my cheeks, on the nose, on the edge of that nose. And I'm tapping, using the same method, but tapping it into the skin, making sure it's part of my skin. And then if I need more coverage, then I go in with another layer. Don't guess how much you want to put on and then blend it in. Use a little bit at a time, because I'm going to show you right now. The left side, watch my left finger. Look how much product has come off compared to the right. That's without powdering, without setting. That's just because of our skin prep and the amount of product we use. Bronzer. This is another UK thing, I think. Just doing lines down the side of the face, and I'm showing you where it's kind of wet the pan with a brush, where I've gone back in because of the excess product sitting on my face. Now, stacking your bronzer and blush like this is fine, but blend them in. Have a reasoning with where you're going with your products, with your blush, your bronzer, your highlight. This looks like Neapolitan ice cream, like it's just stripes on the face. Isn't doing anything for me. It isn't doing anything for the face shape. And a lot of people do it in these basic areas. They're like, go from the top of the ear to the corner of the mouth. Not the same for everyone. And it shouldn't be the same for everyone. It's unique to your face. If that's what you do, great. But if it doesn't suit you, there's a reason why. So I'm taking a bronzer and I'm focusing it mainly on the outside sides of my face and high points, like my hairline, more top of the cheek as well, just to make it look like, you know, it's catching the sun a little bit more. And I'm making sure I'm blending that in. Blush, I'm doing kind of on the cusp of my cheekbone and blending that in with a bronzer. Highlighter, I'm using areas where the light is actually catching my skin and then placing it there instead of just doing a line. Your highlighter doesn't need to connect in a line. It could be dots. It could be individual like dots. Going on with eyeshadow, I just wanted to show you the pigmentation. I have to blend out that crease before. The pigmentation of eyeshadow and how it blends on concealer versus eye primer. So this is a concealer side. This is purple, obviously, a purpley bluey color. And you can see I hate blending on concealer. I think it's terrible. It moves, it slides rather than blends. It's a really strange situation. But look at the pigmentation. I'm using the same method on each side. Now look at this, look how deep. This is how it looks in the palette. This deep purple. The difference between an eyeshadow primer and what that is meant to do, what the product is made for, versus a concealer is insane. It's phenomenal. Look how deep that color is. So much easier to blend. This isn't my best blending, by the way. Just want to show you the color really. And for some reason, I just looked down for ages. I don't know what was going on here. Lashes. So I'm going to put this lash on. You'll be familiar with this if you're familiar with my content. And it's kind of dripping down. It's bringing my eye down on one side. What I'm going to do on the other side is make sure that corner of the lash doesn't go past that theoretical line. So I'm looking down into my mirror and I make sure the corner of the lash meets the corner of my bottom waterline and it doesn't go any further down. We can have a little bit of a dip because it gives us that little flick. I'm going to freeze frame it. Look at the left, look how it kind of brings my eye down, and look at right. If you had hooded eyes, this is a good technique to pay attention to. That was quick and easy. I hope that helped anyone. Consider subscribing and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.